Hello and welcome to What's Brewing Show in Video Instant Reaction. UCLA lost to Washington. They are 0-5. The score was 31-24, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Progress, people. This is all about progress. We saw a lot of it tonight. The offense still not doing Chip Kelly things in a very Chip Kelly way. I guess this is Chip Kelly 2.0 and not necessarily Oregon 2.0, but there was progress, especially against the number 10 team in the nation, Washington, who has probably the best defense on the planet right now. Okay, well, in college, not in the NFL. Probably goes to the Rams or something like that. But UCLA, they did some stuff. They did some things, thank you very much. They had a very pass-heavy game in the first half. Moved over to do some more running plays in the second half. Tried to mix it up a little bit more, but for the most part, it seemed to work. Well, let's go into the numbers, shall we? UCLA, total yards, 422. That's the most this season. Progress. Passing yards, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he just killed it tonight. He was he still had some very errant passes, a lot of passes that were just nowhere near their intended recipient. But for the most part, 272 yards. That is freaking amazing. He had 2 touchdowns, 7.2 yards per attempt. Last week against Colorado was around 3.9. So that's crazy to do that against the one of the best defenses in the nation. He was 27 for 38. That is insane. That is way better than last week. And he wasn't alone. When UCLA did go to the run, it looks like Joshua Kelly is the running back. The former walk-on transfer from UC Davis. He got the majority of reps. Carried the ball 20 times. We didn't see Bolu or Soso in this game. I'm, sorry to see that, but, don't know exactly what's going on there with those seniors. Kind of sucks that they're not getting their, fair share of carries, but, maybe it just has to do with how Kelly is running his offense. We saw Casimir Allen in there 3 times for 4 yards. Only got 1.3 yards per carry. Martell Irby was in there twice for 7 yards. But Joshua Kelly, 20 carries for 125 yards. 2 weeks in a row, he has run for over 100 yards. That's the first time that has happened since 2015. So, progress with the running game. He carried the ball. His average was 6.3 yards per carry. So that's just insane. And Caleb Wilson, finally showed up, targeting him a bit more. I like what's happening. He just seemed to get into the seams. He was basically Caleb Wilson of 2017. Just, when he caught the ball, just got extra yards, whether it was in the middle of the field or on the sideline. He accounted for 102 of UCLA's total receiving yards. Theo Howard had 60 off of 9 receptions. Demetrius Felton, 44 yards. Joshua Kelly, showed up in the stats that, once again, 39 receiving yards. It was freaking amazing. It was just a really positive turn to, especially since what we saw last week. UCLA was horrible in the second half against Colorado. They were horrible at times, against Fresno State and Cincinnati. And this was their best overall game, outside of Oklahoma. It seems that, the 2 top teams that the Bruins have played so far have been their best performances. So, good job with that, guys. All right. Defense. Some progress. Washington was still being Washington. And let me bring up some of the stats here. Not very good. You don't want to give up 462 yards, but for the most part, it actually was encouraging. The defensive line with Antonio Mafi, Rick Wade, who was the other one? Oso Digizua. they were all over the place. It was amazing. They had a lot of pressure. Did they get any sacks? I don't remember if they actually got any sacks, but they created a lot of pressure. Only allowed 197 yards. That's still not good, but considering this is the number 10 team in the nation, it's not bad, yeah. Let me just get to some stats with you, especially for one Bruin defender in particular. Adarius Pickett still killing it, still leading the team in tackles. He had I believe it was a career high, 16 tackles for this game. It's freaking amazing. But the guy who was just everywhere, Chris Barnes, the linebacker. UCLA's linebackers have not been doing well. They're beaten, bruised, they're thinned out, but this guy was balling tonight. 9 total tackles, 7 solo, 1 sack, 3 tackles for a loss, 1 pass breakup, 1 quarterback hurry. I mean, he was just fantastic. He was just everywhere. And it's very encouraging to see a guy like that stand head and shoulders above the rest, especially when there's been so many issues with a position group just like the linebackers. Quentin Lake, 8 total tackles, all of them solo. Once again, a good quarterback was carving up UCLA's pass defense, and it was. I don't want to put it on like the secondary or the linebackers. It just seems like UCLA is not able to get to the ball when it's right in back of where the linebackers are. Jake Browning was just able to put it where he needed to, and the receivers were just getting a ton of yards after catch. But the defense was sticking it to them where they could. Here we go. Oso Digizuo, 1 sack. That was his tackle for a loss. 5 tackles total. Who else? Nate Metters, 7 tackles. KLS, 4 tackles. So it was a good outing to see UCLA, put up, some sort of defense. They have been improving. I wrote an article on GoJoBruin.com on Friday about how there are some unseen factors, unseen progress with the defense, and it continued. UCLA still lost the time of possession, but we did see tempo. We saw some tempo here, and UCLA put some really good drives. They sustained drives. I think they went 3 and out once or twice, not like against Colorado in the second half, where it was pretty much almost every drive. If not, they didn't really extend it. But in this game they did. So it was really encouraging to see what happened here. I was expecting a bloodbath, and that is not what we got. UCLA loses by 7, by 1 touchdown. Washington was favored by 3 touchdowns. So that's nuts. I mean, the defense are still room to improve, but the offense, they took a step up. Washington only allows 11 points a game. UCLA scored 24, the most they've scored in a game. UCLA had, once again, where is it? Sorry, I'm flipping through all this. Don't mind me. Go about your business while I chat you up over here. It's here somewhere. Come on. Now my computer freezes. Good job. Thanks, technology. You're really helping things out. UCLA, 272 yards, the most they've... 422 yards, the most they've had all season long. 272 passing yards, the most they've had all season long. 150 yards, just shy of their season high from which they had last week. I think it was 156 rushing yards. So 6 yards shy of that. Not bad at all. The offensive line looked good. I was still questioning a lot of the running plays. Don't exactly know why Chip Kelly is still trying to force the run up the middle. Didn't exactly go as planned most times. It was still pretty good. As I said, Joshua Kelly was still doing one hell of a job trying to get the ball downfield. But for the most part, it was just encouraging across the board. It was good to see. The Bruins, fighting, until the end, and they did. Washington had a late touchdown. UCLA had, I believe it was a crucial 3-and-out right before that last Washington touchdown. If they would have done something, or if they would have stopped Washington, UCLA probably would have had a chance to come back and tie the game, or make it close. Just something. It was just really exciting to see. It was not boring at all. The drives did not stall, as I said before, and just overall encouraging. And hopefully we get to see a lot more of this in the next couple of weeks, because Washington, clearly this was going to be a hard game no matter what. But UCLA, they travel up to Cal next week. It's never good. It's never good to go up to Memorial Stadium. There's just curse there, bad juju. The last time UCLA won was 4 years ago, and I was actually at that game. So maybe it's all about me. No, it's not. It's just a really tough place for UCLA to play. After that, the Bruins returned to the Rose Bowl against Arizona, and today Cal, I believe, was losing to Arizona, and that I haven't seen all of that game. Heard it was a little bit sloppy, but we'll check it out. We'll give you more content on next week's episode of the What's Bruins show when we record on Tuesday. We'll bring it to you on Wednesday. And just have more analysis and positivity, optimism all the way around. So thank you for joining me on What's Bruins Show in video, instant reaction.